We're back with our MLB Best Bets here on the channel for Sunday, July 20th. We've got all 30 teams, of course, playing today with Major League Baseball, and we got you covered from the early Roku game at 9 o'clock in the morning all the way until Sunday Night Baseball, obviously at 4 o'clock between the Detroit Tigers and the Texas Rangers. So 5 best bets throughout the day. Yesterday, our first negative day in a while. We went 2-3. We're bound to bounce back today. Again, we've been red hot throughout the month of June. Let's keep it going today again with our 5 best bets. Now, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily MLB Best Bets here on the channel. On Greedo Plays MMA later today in a couple hours, we're going to have our UFC Abu Dhabi predictions. Robert Whittaker and Rainer de Ritter in the main event this weekend for the UFC. Make sure to go check out that video and go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA if you have not yet. And also, again, go subscribe to this channel as well. Okay, let's go on to the first of our 5 best bets today. And we are talking about it for the 3rd straight day in a row. Toronto Blue Jays and San Francisco Giants. Guys, okay, maybe I'm just picking this because I've gotten a chance to watch all 18 innings of the 2 previous encounters of this series so far between the Giants and the Blue Jays, but I can't stop myself from taking Toronto Blue Jays money line today against the Giants, okay? I can't stop myself. The Blue Jays are the obvious pick in this spot, and it's pretty clear to me why, okay? The Giants lineup sucks. I tried to, get around it yesterday. I was like, all right, well, I feel somewhat, confident about Logan Webb on the mound. I was like, I just need the Giants to score a little bit. Well, I didn't expect Eric Lauer to go in there, pitch 6 shutdown innings, and only give up 2 hits and 2 runs. Willy Adames was really the only reason why the Giants were competitive yesterday, right? Adames hits 2 home runs in both the 5th and the 7th inning. The one in the 7th got them back within 1, and obviously the one in the 5th was the first run scored. Willy Adames was the only guy keeping the Giants together yesterday. Luis Matos, I guess, contributed a little bit as well. But they had 4 total hits, right? Matos had 1, Adames had his 2, and Elliot Ramos had 1. The team sucks. And here's the thing, guys. Willy Adames will have games where he's great like this, right? Yesterday, he goes 2 for 3. He's now got the average up to 224 this season. Okay, this is not happening on back-to-back days, right? It was a favorable matchup for Adames yesterday, right? With the lefty and Lauer on the bump, it was very favorable. Now he gets a guy in Jose Berrios, which is going to be more difficult, obviously, with that stuff that Berrios is going to throw away from the plate. That's where Adames is going to struggle, and I'm talking about the Giants lineup, just like it is just Willy Adames, because yesterday, that's really all it was. It was just Willy contributing. I look at the rest of this lineup, guys. I'm so unconfident in everybody in the lineup, right? Rafael Devers has been horrible as a San Francisco Giant. And that's not, I'm not like overstating that. No, it's the truth. It's a fact. Devers has been horrible as a Giant so far. He's batting .255, but as a Giant, his average is in like the 160s. I could be over exaggerating a little bit there, but it's in the 100s. Wilmer Flores has, he's dropped the Linsanity run that he had at the start of the season. Matt Chapman, if only he could hit like he fields. Jung-Hoo Lee's been horrible. The bottom of the lineup is just, it's a bad lineup. Okay, their only saving grace today is that Robbie Ray is on the mound. Ray is now pitching in the city in which he was spectacular in, Toronto tonight. Ray's got a 2.65 ERA. He's been great all season long. Coming off a start against the Dodgers where he was very serviceable. ERA so far in the month of July is 2.18. Month of June, he was just okay. Month of May, my goodness, Ray was great. 1.38 ERA in the month. I don't really think it matters because yesterday we saw Logan Webb. Okay, I think Robbie Ray's going to pitch a little bit better than Logan Webb did yesterday because you look at the way Logan Webb pitched. Everything was hard hit yesterday from the Blue Jays, right? They had they had 11 hits in 6 innings off of Logan Webb. They had 14 in the game. 11 of those came off of Logan Webb in the 6 innings that he pitched, and a lot of those were hard hit balls. Now, in all fairness, the Giants did give Logan Webb a lead. He had a 2-0 lead going into the 6th inning. Blue Jays score 4. He's pulled after, right, that 6th inning. I think Ray's going to get hit. I don't think he's going to get hit that much, right, because that was just a rarity, I guess. Maybe, but the Blue Jays, here's my thing. The Blue Jays are hitting the ball well right now. Really, I mean, everyone in their lineup yesterday had a hit. Everyone in the lineup. Everyone's contributing. George Springer's been great. Vladdy's been hitting the ball well. Bo Bichette has been really good recently. I mean, everyone throughout this lineup is hitting the ball well. There's not an easy out right now in this Toronto lineup, right? The Blue Jays are in first place in the National League East. They're 57-41, and Jose Berrios is going today. I don't care Berrios hasn't been elite this season. He's been good enough. 3.75 is the ERA this season for Berrios. Is coming off a bad start in Sacramento against the Athletics, but I'm going to throw that one out, okay? It's hard to pitch in Sacramento. It's hard to pitch with that heat. It's hard to pitch in that minor league baseball stadium. It is what it is. Look at the start that he had before the Athletics won. It's against the White Sox, sure, but he goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, right? The ERA for Berrios in the month of June was 1.97, okay? Month of July, it's in the 7s. I get it, his ERA. However, one starts in Sacramento and the other one's against the New York Yankees. I don't put much into that. I really don't, okay? I am willing to say, okay, this guy was great at the end of the month of June against the White Sox, 7 shutout innings against the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. I am going to remember that when I'm picking Jose Berrios today. And also, again, I'm realizing, okay, who are the Toronto Blue Jays playing? They're playing these dog crap San Francisco Giants who struggle to play any runs together. And sure, again, Adames was really good yesterday, and Adames will have his games where he is really great. What are the odds Adames puts together back-to-back tremendous nights at the plate? Because they need Adames to be great, and they need Elliot Ramos to be great. And no, I'm not mentioning Devers, I'm not mentioning anybody else, because that's just unrealistic to expect Devers and Matt Chapman and Jung Ho Lee to have good games. The only reliable guys that they can somewhat rely on, let me correct myself there, is Ramos. And it is Adames to at least carry them to a victory. That's not happening today. Yes, their bullpen's great. I'm still going with the Blue Jays though, and yes, I'm taking Toronto to sweep. The Giants look lifeless out there. The Blue Jays have owned them this entire series. I'm going with the Toronto Blue Jays winning at home and sweeping the San Francisco Giants with the early game at 9 o'clock on Roku TV. Let's go on now to our second best bet of the video. It is our daily Washington Nationals best bet. And yes, I'm going Nationals money line today. Okay, haven't gone to Nats money line in quite a bit, but you know, I'm tempted, so I'm doing it. Mackenzie Gore is pitching. Okay, no way the Nats hit this poorly against Nick Pivetta again, right? Like no way. Because here's the thing about yesterday's game. I'll go through yesterday's game in its entirety or a full recap in a second here, okay? But the Nats didn't even hit the ball well yesterday, and they still found a way to win. I got to give a lot of credit to Mitchell Parker, okay? I'm going to give Parker a lot of credit for the win yesterday. Parker surprisingly goes 6 innings and only gives up 2 runs. That's incredible out of that guy. And shout out to Kyle Finnegan for bouncing back and getting a huge save yesterday for us. Trade value going back up. Anyways, the Nats didn't even hit well yesterday, and they won 4-2. Today they get Nick Pivetta. Okay, the Nats haven't had a good hitting day yet against the San Diego Padres squad in this series, right? They get Nick Pivetta, who maybe they make him look like Randy Johnson or they make him look like, you know, Cy Young out there, like what the Nationals did with Dylan Cease. But I gotta think they're gonna hit better off of Pivetta. The last time Pivetta pitched against the Nats, it was in San Diego, and Pivetta went 7 shutout innings. If you remember, Mackenzie Gore went 6 innings, I believe, and gave up 1 run. I gotta think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I do think the Nationals are actually going to be able to draw first here against San Diego because of the greatness of Mackenzie Gore. All right, I'm always tempted when Mackenzie Gore is pitching for the Nationals to take Nats money line, and I'm doing exactly that here. Again, I'm taking and I'm siding with a top 5 pitcher in the game of baseball, and yes, that is Mackenzie, right? Top 5 in strikeouts, sub 3 ERA soon to be. Yeah, I'm going to side with that guy. All-star this season. Gore's been spectacular. And in his last 2 starts, the Nationals have actually won. It was a trend for the longest time in the season, but the Nats couldn't win when Gore was on the mound. Well, July 2nd and July 9th, they win both of those games in which Mackenzie Gore starts against the Tigers. They win 9-4, and in a really good effort from Mackenzie in St. Louis, the Nats win 8-2. I always go Nats money line for the most part when Gore's pitching, at least when I like the matchup. And here's the thing, right? James Wood's going to come around eventually, okay? I think even in the 0-for-4 effort yesterday, I think we're getting there again with James Wood, right? Averages dropped from like 285 to 273 right now. That sucks. But at least Wood's not striking out all the time again. Like that first game on Friday and at the end of the first half of the season before we went on the break and when the Nats were in Milwaukee, Wood was striking out like it's nobody's business, all right? Only 1 strikeout yesterday, putting the ball in play a little bit more. I'm somewhat optimistic there. Guys, the Nationals won that baseball game yesterday with the top of their lineup going 1 for 15. 1 through 4, Abrams, Wood, Garcia, and Bell went 1 for 15 at the plate. Guys, quietly, Josh Bell's batting .220 right now, and nobody's talking about it, okay? Josh Bell's going to fetch us a really good prospect at the deadline, and I love Josh Bell. I hate to see him go, but you got to do that, obviously. Abrams was the only guy out those 4 hitters, 1 through 4, to notch a base hit yesterday. I think the top of the order gets going today. I think they have a better night against Nick Pivetta, and I think the Nationals are going to win. So minus 110, I believe, in the money line today. No, plus 1. Oh, plus 100, even better for the Nationals today on the money line. Absolutely sign me up for this. I am taking Washington to beat San Diego at home at Nats Park. Why? Again, we look at yesterday too, real quickly. Got to give a lot of credit to Drew Millis yesterday for the Nationals victory. Guys, Mitchell Parker goes 6 innings of 2-run baseball yesterday, right? He outduels Yu Darvish. The Nats win 4-2. That's great. I'm giving a lot of credit to Drew Millis for that, though, all right? Drew Millis is our best defensive catcher, and I would argue he's our best all-around catcher and best hitting catcher as well. I don't know why this guy does not play more. He's better than Riley Adams. I like Radams a lot, but Drew Millis is way better defensively than Radams. And, okay, we're comparing averages here. Millis hits 250, Radams bats 140. Why is Riley the starter? And oh, by the way, the guy we gave a 6-year extension to, Keibert Ruiz, is somehow a 245 hitter, but has hit 2 home runs all year long. And yes, that's a guy who plays every single game and is the worst defensive catcher in all of baseball. I'm not telling you Drew Millis needs to start every day over Keibert Ruiz, but at least when Ruiz comes back from the IL, I'm sorry, Riley, you got to go back down to Rochester. It has to be Drew Millis, at least as the backup catcher. I would argue he should be the starter. Now, again, do I think Drew Millis is the long-term solution for the Nationals at catcher? No. If I could have it my way, right, we're making a big trade to get Harry Ford. I don't know if we can actually make that happen or not, right? And that's in a perfect world, okay? I'm looking at the free agency market next year for catchers. Guys, the most realistic option, I'm not joking, is probably JT Realmuto. I'm not saying the Nationals are going to do that, but I'm looking at all the catchers that are going to hit the market. Like, that's the only guy I could legitimately see being a guy who the Nats bring in for one season and can kind of help Keibert out. If not, guys, we're staring down another Keibert Ruiz full starting year at catcher next season. So if that is the case, you need Drew Millis to be the number 2. Guys, you see that play Drew Millis made in the 8th inning or 7th inning? When Jose Ferreira goes home, Tatis tries to go home on a fielder's choice. Drew Millis chases down Fernando Tatis in the rundown, dives, swipes at his feet, and makes the tag. I'm sorry, Keibert Ruiz, Riley Adams, they're not that athletic. They're not making that play. I like Millis a lot. Switch hitting catcher. He's better than Radams. He's better than Keibert. Why doesn't he play at least every day right now instead of Riley? I get it. Oh, Riley's going to hit his once-in-a-lifetime home run, or actually once every, 2 weeks home run. No, Millis is better at the plate, makes better contact, and he's just better defensively as well. Again, Nats win 4-2 yesterday because of the play Millis makes, because of the way that he, catches that game behind the dish for Mitchell Parker. I'm just saying, I believe our pitchers have more confidence when a actual half-decent defensive catcher is behind the dish, because Keibert Ruiz, horrible defensively. Riley Adams, god-awful defensively behind the dish. Drew Millis right now is our best option, and sure, Caleb Lomavita is in our system. I don't know. I think Caleb's probably a couple years away, and I'm looking again long-term wise here. There's really not an option, at least in free agency, that we can go to other than potentially a 1-year rental. So keep Drew Millis around. I really like the guy. Anyways, I know that was quite a long rant. I apologize for that. Again, I got to come on here and talk about the Nationals, Plus 100 for the Nats today. Okay, next up, we go to our daily Nerfy. Let's move to New York, as we've got the New York Mets hosting the Cincinnati Reds. I'm taking the Nerfy in this spot. Nerfy for us yesterday, it did hit. We had it between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. Went kind of how I thought it was going to go. Shout out to the Brewers for winning again yesterday. I'll just say it right now, I'm not going Brewers money line today, even though I would consider it. Jose Quintana and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. I think the Brewers are able to get to Unk. They don't have a single player that's hitting over 800 in terms of OPS, but they're winning baseball games, and they have won the first 2 against the Dodgers, who look horrible right now. Anyways, the Nerfy for us hit yesterday with Emmett Shaheen and Freddie Peralta. Today I'm looking at a Nerfy between Andrew Abbott and David Peterson. The tougher part in this for me is David Peterson, just because Peterson can be shaky at times. I know he was in the All-Star game this season, but he's given us a little bit of a rough go at times with Nerfy bets. I look at the Cincinnati lineup. I'm still not too concerned about the Reds scoring in the first. They didn't yesterday. Actually, the Mets scored in the first inning, but that was against Nick Martinez. So, are we too surprised there? No, we're not. I'm still again, I know TJ Friedel and Ellie De La Cruz can hurt you, right? Combined yesterday for Cincinnati, those 2 guys went 0 for 9. Those are the guys who are going to, again, if the Nerfy's not going to hit, and if David Peterson's the one giving up runs and the Reds are scoring early, it's going to be because of the efforts out of Friedel and De La Cruz. I just don't see it happening today. I just don't. Again, I think Peterson's able to manage his way through that first inning, which I think by far is the more challenging part of the Nerfy today at Queens. Again, Peterson so far in the season, he was an all-star this year, 3.06 ERA. His last start was actually really good. It was in a loss that the Mets had against the Orioles, but Peterson goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. I believe, yeah, we had Mets money line that day. Anyways, Peterson has been way better in the month of July compared to the month of June, right? So far in July, 1.32 ERA, 4.55 in June. Obviously, again, we don't care about the entire game. We just need one good inning out of the southpaw, right? And again, Friedel lefty, love that matchup. We get Ellie De La Cruz on the right side of the plate. We know he's not as good at the right side of the plate than he is at the left. And then, okay, Matt McLain, righty lefty in the 2 spot. I think Peterson's able to manage that. Flip side, okay, we get Andrew Abbott going. Another southpaw. Abbott has been spectacular this season, right? First All-Star game appearance for Andrew Abbott this year. Pitched 1 scoreless inning in the game on Tuesday. Andrew Abbott, though, consistently has been one of the better pitchers in baseball. The only bad part, I guess, of picking Andrew Abbott, just in general, is the fact that he's not going to go the deepest in games. That doesn't affect us here, okay? If Andrew Abbott pitches 5 innings and gives up 1 run in the 4th, or, he gives up nothing in 5 innings, I don't care. We just need 1 good inning out the guy, and I think he's able to deliver that for us this year, or this game, right? He's been great this year, 2.07 ERA for Abbott if it matters, right? 8-1 record this season. The Reds usually win when Abbott's on the bump. 1.08 whip so far this year. Now, the Mets did score in the first inning yesterday. We'll see what their lineup's going to be today. I doubt they bat Nimmo in the 1, but if they do, I mean, there's a lefty spot, probably no Nimmo at the top of the lineup. But obviously, again, we're picking Nerfy. We are kind of concerned with Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. Yesterday, Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto go combined 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts. Crazy. Right? We can't expect them to probably bounce back today, but still, I like Abbott in this spot, right? A really good pitcher, an all-star pitcher against a lefty and 1. I think he's able to manage that. We'll see Pete Alonso. We're going to see Francisco Lindor. Those are tough outs. I understand that. But guys, Lindor's a 250 hitter this year. Somehow that guy was an all-star over CJ Abrams, right? CJ Abrams right now is playing like our best player in DC, right? But you had to give the all-star bid to Francisco Lindor. It is what it is. Abbott's been really good this year. I like the Nerfy in this spot. It did not hit yesterday, right? The Mets were able to score in the first inning. Mark Vientos drove in Brandon Nimmo in the first. I believe Andrew Abbott, again, who is an all-star this year, and David Peterson, who might not be on the same level as Abbott, was an all-star as well this season. I think the all-stars are able to come through for us at Citi Field at Queens, and I do think we're able to get the first 6 outs of this baseball game. The way more tough, the tougher part for me, I believe, is still though with Peterson. I know, again, right, I'm more fearful of that lineup in New York. I just don't trust Peterson like I trust Abbott, who's been, lights out this season. I think we're going to be fine. Nerfy today from Queens, Mets, Reds, -130 on the line. Again, we hit yesterday in Los Angeles. Let's look to hit again in back-to-back days. Okay, let's move on to our 4th best bet of the video. It's our second money line of the day. I mentioned this on Friday, or I guess, early Friday morning, when we went over the first game between the Astros and Mariners in this series. I said, I think this is a very important series for Seattle. This is going to change the landscape, at least in the American League West, for the rest of the season. They came into the series 5 games back at Houston. They're only down 3 now. And if they can sweep, and we talked about in a perfect world, the Mariners are going to sweep. They're riding off sweeping Detroit right before the All-Star break. If they can sweep the Astros, they're going to only be 2 games back of the American League West. This is a statement type of series that the Mariners can put on, and they can tell Houston essentially, okay, we're here, and we're going to win the division. And I thought, okay, if they sweep, they're in a tremendous spot because you get all that momentum and more. I'm telling you right now, they're going to fulfill that prophecy, and they're going to sweep the Houston Astros tonight. Here's the thing with Houston, okay? They are running a hospital team out there right now, right? They are so injured, it is crazy. And it doesn't help that yesterday, right, Isaac Paredes hits a hard ball off of the left field wall. He stops at first because he pulls his hamstring, and maybe something worse. I don't know. The initial thing I saw on Twitter was it's not looking good for Paredes. The initial tests aren't great. Again, we're probably not going to hear more until later in the day, or maybe, before their game Monday, if they play on Monday. Before their next series, yeah, they do play on Monday. Ooh, they're in Arizona. Ooh. Might be a great spot for the D-backs, I'm just saying. We'll get to that tomorrow, though. Houston's so injured because, again, you take away another one of their one of their good hitters in their lineup. You take away Paredes, and we're watching that game in extra innings, and it's like, who's stepping up to the plate right now? I mean, you got Zach Short, who steps in for Paredes, obviously in the leadoff spot, and then Taylor Trammell's pinch hitting with his 143 average, and he's pinch hitting in extra innings. Altuve's still doing his thing. Carantini has his nights. I like Cam Smith a lot. But my goodness, the bottom of the lineup's really bad. It is an injury-ridden team right now. On top of that, Hunter Brown's going today, who, again, was right in the midst of the Cy Young race earlier this season. Hunter Brown has not been good recently. 2.43 ERA, that's still great. Look at Hunter Brown's month of July so far. Okay, it starts off the month with a really good start in Colorado. Again, tough place to pitch, obviously, at Coors Field. He goes 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. That's great against the Rockies. At the same time, it is the Rockies, but look at Brown's last 2 starts, July 8th and July 13th. On the 8th, he goes 6 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs. That's a lot of sixes. Anyways, doesn't do well in Cleveland, or at home against Cleveland. Next start, again at Minute Maid Park against the Texas Rangers. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. Ooh, man. Yikes, 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 yikes. I think the Mariners have turned a page, at least with their hitting. They look a lot better. They just do, right? And I'm still waiting for Cal Raleigh to really come through in this series. And what I mean by that is Cal Raleigh hitting an absolute shot and missile into right field or left field, whatever side the plate is hitting from. Probably the left side of the plate, so in right field. Anyways, I'm still waiting for that, right? Randy Arozarena is hitting the ball a lot better right now. Julio looks a little bit better. JP Crawford, I mean, I have a more positive outlook right now on the Seattle Mariners than I've had on them in years right now. I firmly believe right now this team's going to win the American League West. I think they can make the moves needed at the deadline, and I'm looking at them compared to Houston. Houston's just injured. They're not in a really good spot this year, and we know how great the Mariners' pitching is. The thing we've always said about Seattle is if their bats can get going, they're a problem. Well, their bats got going yesterday. That means they are a problem. A huge extra innings win yesterday for Seattle. They win it 7-6. Both teams score 1 in the 10th. Seattle scores in an unconventional way in the 10th inning. Dylan Moore, has who was it? It was still Hader then. Yeah. Hader throws a pitch off of the knob of the bat for Dylan Moore. Somehow it rolls into fair play. Cal Raleigh scores off of that. Was it Hader? Yeah, it was Hader. Yeah, because Nearest pitched the 11th. Anyways, they tie the game, and then it's won by Cole Young in the bottom half of the 11th inning after Bizzardo goes up and gets 3 up, 3 down in the top half of the 11th inning, right? Young scores the game-winning run in the bottom of the 11th to win the game for Seattle 7-6. So a huge victory for the Mariners, right? They've won 4 of 5 this season against Houston, so there's something as well. Obviously, they are not done yet. They still got to go to Houston, I believe, later in the season, but I like what the Mariners are doing right now. On top of that, oh yeah, Brian Woo's going today. All-star Brian Woo, right? Another 2 all-star pitchers on the mound tonight. Brian Woo so far in the month of July, 2 starts, 13 and a third innings, and 2 runs given up. Those 2 runs against the New York Yankees. He had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning in that game. Brian Woo's good. 1.35 ERA in the season. The other start in the month of July, 4th of July against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Mariners here. They have momentum. They knew how big this series was against the Astros going into it, and they have delivered on every single possibility here. They have completely delivered against the Astros, and it does not help, unfortunately. I mean, it's just how it is. The Astros are dealing with so many injuries. Obviously, Jordan's at the top of that list, and now you add another one of your guys who bats leadoff for your team, and Isaac Paredes, who's been having a really good season in his first year with Houston. You take away a 260 hitter at the top of your lineup. I mean, that's just a huge blow. Paredes probably out for a couple months. I don't know. Again, initial things weren't great on him. He's at least out for another month, or for a month here. Taking the Mariners, I think they're going to catch up to Houston eventually, and I'm taking Seattle money line today. I think they sweep Houston. We're taking a sweep early in the day with the Blue Jays against the Giants. I'm taking a sweep to end the day as well with the Mariners. We'll end the afternoon slate. Give me Seattle Mariners money line at home against the Astros, minus 115. Not scared of Hunter Brown. He hasn't been good recently, and I know what Brian Woo's going to bring us. Give me the Mariners. Okay. Final best bet of the video. Let's go to Sunday Night Baseball. Love this play here in Sunday Night Baseball. Tarek Skubal over 7.5 strikeouts. Why? Tarek Skubal shows up in the big moments. Okay? Tarek Skubal, I believe this is either his 2nd or 3rd appearance on Sunday Night Baseball this season. I think it's the 3rd. I could be wrong here. Skubal's coming off of, if this means anything, Skubal, puts the American League in a little bit of a deficit or in a jam early in that game in the All-Star game, right? Ohtani singles to kick off the game. Ketel Marte hits one down the line. Ultimately, Skubal gives up 3 hits and gives up 2 runs in the All-Star game, right? Gives the National League a 2-0 lead. That means nothing here, but I do think Skubal is going to be much better after that 1-inning appearance on Tuesday. The line today for Skubal strikeouts is high. It's 7.5. Yeah, it's 7.5. Ooh, that's a lot. Now, we look at Tarek Skubal's last 5 starts. Okay, it's the Mariners, 5 innings, 5 Ks. Guardians, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. Twins, 7 innings, 13 strikeouts. A's, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts. Pirates, 5 2/3, 6 strikeouts. So if you're counting at home, that's 3 of 5, where Tarek Skubal has gone over this prop in his last 5 games. We know what Skubal is capable of. That is the double-digit strikeout numbers. Now, the last time he was on Sunday Night Baseball was that Twins game, right? Goes 7, 13 strikeouts at home. That's what I'm saying. Skubal performs when the lights are brightest. Hell, if this means much, back in May, he pitched on a Sunday. It was the Roku game when the lights are brightest. He pitched against the Guardians, went a full 9-inning shutout, and got them 13 strikeouts in that game. I expect Skubal in Sunday Night Baseball to go at least 7 innings tonight. I look at the Texas Rangers. Their bats are just a mystery to me most nights. Some nights, they look all right. Some nights they don't. Again, guys, the Tigers are relying on Skubal to be great tonight. The Rangers have won the first 2 games of this series. Detroit's lost now 5 games in a row going into this game. They got swept right before the break against the Mariners. Now they've lost back-to-back in Texas against the Rangers team. Like, let's just be honest. Texas is not supposed to be on their level, obviously. Detroit still record-wise has the best record in all of Major League Baseball right now. I guess actually the Cubs have a better record now by a half a game. This is still the best team record-wise in the American League. You need to show up and beat the Texas Rangers, and you cannot get swept by this baseball team either. Correction, they've lost 6 in a row. They lost the last game of their series going in to that Mariners series to close the first half of the season. So, Detroit's really relying here on the Hayward, California native and Skubal to be great. Again, this is a guy who is 3rd in all Major League Baseball in strikeouts, and I look at what the Texas Rangers are offering. Still not a team I'm all that concerned about. Guys, Montero, who's not the best guy in this Rangers rotation yesterday, goes 4 innings and gets 5 strikeouts. Imagine what Tarek Skubal can do in 7 innings. Exactly, right? Just look at the Rangers lineup. They're still nothing what they were. I mean, in that World Series year, that should probably be investigated for how random that was. But just look at this lineup. And you're telling me Tarek Skubal's not going to get 8 Ks with something that he's done in 3 of his last 5 starts against better teams? Josh Smith, Corey Seager, Semien, Garcia, Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, Rowdy Tellez, Kyle Higashioka, and Ozuna or Jonah Heim. Come on now. That's just not a great lineup. And I know what Tarek Skubal can do again against inferior lineups. And another big thing that I'm playing into this, well, 2 things are, okay, Sunday Night Baseball lights are the brightest. Actually, 3 things. That's 1. 2, Skubal's coming off a bad performance in the All-Star game on national television. So again, that kind of disputes my lights are brightest claim. But hey, that's an All-Star game. It's different. And then 3, the Tigers need to win. They cannot lose 7 games in a row. You are supposed to be the favorites in the American League right now, or at least one of the favorites, right? You are supposed to be taken seriously as a contender. You can't go out there and lose 7 consecutive games. And sure, they get a get-right series to start next week, tomorrow, in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. We will see Paul Skeens tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it should be Skeens bump day, I think. So maybe that's their get-right series. But if, again, my calculations are right, I believe Skeens is going tomorrow. You don't want to be going into Pittsburgh to a Paul Skeens bump day. I understand they never get Skeens runs, but you don't want to be going into that game in Pittsburgh against the Pirates against Paul Skeens on a 7-game losing streak. They need to win. They need Skubal to be great to win. And if Skubal's going to be great, he's going to get 8 strikeouts. There's my mindset there. So folks, that does it for our MLB Best Bets here on July 20th. If you have not yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.